I was loading my fishing tackle into the truck, planning a quiet morning at the lake, when my phone rang. Karen Rodriguez, my tax attorney, never called on Saturday mornings unless something was seriously wrong. I almost didn't answer. My hands went still on the tackle box when I heard her voice. Bill, where are you right now? Are you alone? Yeah, I'm at home, just heading out to. Don't go anywhere. I need you to sit down. What I'm about to tell you is going to change everything. I sat down right there on the garage floor, my back against the truck tire. Karen had handled my taxes for 15 years. She'd never sounded like this. Your son Marcus just filed paperwork with the county. He's trying to have you declared mentally incompetent. The tackle box slipped from my hands, lures scattering across the concrete. Let me back up. My name is William Morrison, though everyone calls me Bill. I'm 67 years old, retired airline pilot with 32 years at United. I've got my health, my pension, and the lakefront property my parents left me 40 years ago. It's nothing fancy, just 8 acres on Lake Minnetonka with the original cabin my grandfather built in 1952. My wife Sarah and I raised Marcus there. She passed 6 years ago, and that property is the last piece of her I have left. Marcus is my only child, 40 years old, runs a real estate development company in Minneapolis. Did well for himself, or so I thought. Married Vanessa 12 years ago. She's one of those lifestyle influencers, always filming everything for her followers. They have my granddaughter Lily, who just turned 15. I thought we were close. Marcus came by every other Sunday. We'd watch the Vikings game, drink beer, talk about his projects. He seemed interested in the property, sure. He'd walk the land, take measurements, talk about the potential. But I figured he was just dreaming, the way people do. The property wasn't going anywhere. It was going to be his someday anyway. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. 3 months ago, Marcus started bringing up my memory during casual conversations. Dad, you already told me that story. Remember? We talked about this last week. Small things that made me second-guess myself. Then Vanessa started coming along, always with her phone out, recording. She said it was for her family content, but she'd ask me questions and keep the camera rolling. Tell us about your flying days, Bill. What was it like landing in bad weather? Did you ever forget your procedures? About 6 weeks ago, Marcus suggested I see his doctor. Just for a checkup, Dad. You're getting up there in age. Wouldn't hurt to have someone monitor your cognitive function. He made the appointment himself. Dr. Patterson, young guy, maybe 35. The whole visit felt off. He asked me weird questions, made me count backward from 100, asked me to recall a list of words he'd told me 10 minutes earlier. I thought I did fine, but he kept writing notes, shaking his head slightly. Mr. Morrison, I'm seeing some concerning patterns here, he said. I'd like to schedule a follow-up with a neurologist. I didn't go. Something about the whole thing felt staged. 2 weeks ago, Lily came to visit me alone. That almost never happened. She asked if we could take a walk down to the lake, away from the cabin. When we got to the dock, she pulled out her phone. Grandpa, I need to show you something. But you can't tell Mom and Dad I did this. She played me a recording. Her parents' voices, clear as day, coming from her bedroom. She'd hidden her phone under a pile of laundry on their bed. Vanessa's voice. The appraisal came back at $2.1 million. Once we get the incompetency ruling, we can transfer the property to the trust with you as conservator. Marcus. Patterson said he'd testify that Dad showed clear signs of dementia. That plus the financial records should be enough. Vanessa. When can we break ground? I've already got the architect working on the resort designs. Think of the content this is going to generate. From family legacy to luxury retreat, our journey. The followers are going to eat this up. Marcus. Let's not count our chickens. We still need to get through the hearing. And Lily's been acting weird. I think she suspects something. Vanessa. She's 15. Who's going to believe her? I made Lily play it again, then again. My own son's voice, talking about me like I was already gone, like I was a business opportunity. Grandpa, are you okay? Lily's hand was on my arm. I'm sorry. I didn't want to believe it either, but I've been watching them. They've been going through your papers when you're not looking. Mom photographs everything. That's when I called Karen. She told me to come in Monday morning, don't tell anyone, and bring Lily's recording. Now, here I was, Saturday morning, sitting on my garage floor, while Karen explained what they were planning. The petition claims you're unable to manage your financial affairs. They've attached medical reports from Dr. Patterson stating you exhibit signs of cognitive decline. They've also submitted financial documents, supposedly showing erratic spending and poor judgment. What documents? I haven't done anything erratic. That's what concerns me, Bill. Someone's been creating a paper trail. I see ATM withdrawals you didn't make, checks written to cash, credit card charges at casinos. None of this matches your actual spending patterns that I've seen over the years. My chest got tight. They forged my signature? Looks that way. But here's the thing, Bill. If you don't fight this immediately, if you let this hearing happen without representation, you could lose everything, not just the property, your autonomy, your rights. They're asking for full conservatorship. That means they control your bank accounts, your medical decisions, where you live. Everything. I felt like I was in free fall. That sickening moment when the plane drops and your stomach stays where it was. 32 years of flying, and I'd never felt this out of control. What do? First, you document everything. Get your own medical evaluation from an independent doctor. Second, you gather financial records, proving those transactions weren't you. Third, we file a response, and we fight this hard. I'm going to refer you to someone who specializes in elder law. His name is James Chen. He's expensive, but he's the best. I met James Chen that Tuesday. He was younger than I expected, maybe 45, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense handshake. Mr. Morrison, I'm going to be direct with you. What your son is attempting is called financial elder abuse, and it's more common than you'd think. Adult children see their inheritance as a right, not a gift. They convince themselves they're protecting assets when really they're stealing them. He spread the documents across his conference table. But you've got something most of my clients don't have when they first come to me. You've got evidence. This recording your granddaughter made is going to be crucial. Can we even use it? She recorded them without permission. Minnesota is a one-party consent state. As long as one person in the conversation knows it's being recorded, it's legal. But Lily wasn't part of the conversation, so there's a gray area. We might not be able to use it in court, but it gives us a roadmap. We know their strategy. We can prepare. Over the next 3 weeks, James built our case like I used to build flight plans. Every detail checked, every contingency covered. I got evaluated by Dr. Sarah Brennan, a neuropsychologist with 30 years of experience. She put me through 6 hours of cognitive testing, memory, reasoning, language, attention. It was exhausting, but when she finished, she smiled. Mr. Morrison, your cognitive function is completely normal for your age. Actually, better than normal. Your memory scores are in the 92nd percentile. There is absolutely no evidence of dementia or any other cognitive impairment. Then what was Dr. Patterson talking about? Her smile faded. I reviewed his notes. The tests he administered aren't even standard screening tools, and his interpretations are, frankly, fabricated. This looks like someone who was paid to reach a predetermined conclusion. James subpoenaed my bank records. We found the fraudulent transactions. 8 ATM withdrawals of $500 each, all from a branch in downtown Minneapolis I'd never been to. 3 checks made out to cash, totaling $4,000, with signatures that looked like mine but weren't quite right. Credit card charges at 2 different casinos, also in Minneapolis. They weren't very sophisticated, James said. They just needed enough to establish a pattern. Look here, the ATM withdrawals all happened on Tuesdays and Thursdays, between 2 and 4 p.m. Where were you during these times? I checked my calendar. Every Tuesday, I volunteer at the VA hospital, 3 to 6 p.m. Thursdays, I play chess at the senior center, 1 to 5. Perfect. Get me documentation. Sign-in sheets, anything with your signature and a timestamp. The VA had me on their volunteer roster. The senior center had sign-in sheets. On every single date of the alleged ATM withdrawals, I'd been somewhere else with witnesses. They're going to claim someone else used your card, James said. So we're going to request ATM camera footage. Let's see who was actually making those withdrawals. The footage request took 2 weeks. When it finally came, I watched Marcus walk up to the ATM, insert my card, withdraw $500, and walk away. 7 different times. The timestamp and date were visible in the corner of each video. I had to watch it twice before it really sank in. My son, the boy I taught to ride a bike, the kid I put through college, standing there, stealing from me, building a case to take away my freedom. James saw my face. I know this is hard, but this evidence is gold. He's on camera committing fraud. This changes everything. The hearing was set for a Thursday in late September. James filed our response with all the evidence. Dr. Brennan's evaluation, the ATM footage, the alibi documentation, Lily's recording, marked as informational only, admissibility disputed. The night before the hearing, Lily called me. Grandpa, they know I helped you. Mom found the recording on my backup drive. She's furious. Are you safe, sweetheart? Yeah, I'm staying at my friend Madison's house, but Dad keeps calling. He says I betrayed the family, that I don't understand what I've done. You did the right thing, Lily. Whatever happens tomorrow, you did the right thing. I'm scared. Me too, honey. Me too. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Marcus and Vanessa sat on one side with their attorney, a slick-looking guy named Bradford. They wouldn't look at me. Vanessa kept checking her phone, probably reading comments from her followers. She'd posted something that morning about family challenges and difficult decisions. Judge Catherine Walsh was in her 60s, with gray hair and reading glasses on a chain. She looked at the stack of documents in front of her, then looked at Marcus and me. This is a guardianship hearing, not a trial, but I'm going to treat it with the seriousness it deserves. Mr. Bradford, present your case. Bradford stood up. He was good. I'll give him that. He painted a picture of a declining old man making poor decisions. He showed the bank statements with the cash withdrawals. He had Dr. Patterson testify about my supposed cognitive issues. The respondent showed clear signs of disorientation, Dr. Patterson said. He couldn't recall basic information. His judgment was impaired. James stood. Dr. Patterson, did you record this evaluation? No. Did you have a witness present? No. It was a private medical consultation. So we have no way to verify your claims except your notes? My professional assessment should be sufficient. We'll return to that. James sat down, making a note. Bradford showed photos of the lakefront property. This is a valuable asset that needs professional management. Mr. Morrison lacks the capacity to handle such decisions. Then it was our turn. James started with the ATM footage. The courtroom went silent as we watched Marcus, clear as day, using my card. Mr. Morrison has never been to this ATM, James said. He was volunteered at the VA hospital during these withdrawals. But his son had access to his wallet during Sunday visits. Bradford jumped up. Objection. There's no proof. It's his son on the video, Judge Walsh said quietly. Sit down, Mr. Bradford. James called Dr. Brennan. She walked through my evaluation, explaining each test, showing the results. This man's cognitive function is completely normal, she said. The tests Dr. Patterson claims to have administered aren't even real diagnostic tools. I've reviewed his notes. His conclusions are not supported by any legitimate medical evidence. Bradford tried to discredit her, but she was unshakable. 30 years of experience versus one suspicious evaluation. Then James did something I didn't expect. He called Lily to the stand. She was nervous, picking at her nail polish. But when James asked her to describe what she'd witnessed, her voice got stronger. I saw my mom photographing Grandpa's documents when he went to the bathroom. I saw my dad practicing Grandpa's signature on a notepad. I heard them talking about the property like it was already theirs, like Grandpa was already gone. Bradford objected. This is hearsay from a child with... I'm 15, not 5. Lily cut him off. And I know what I saw. Judge Walsh leaned forward. Continue, young lady. They were going to turn the property into some luxury resort for Mom's Instagram followers. They didn't care that it was Grandpa's home. They didn't care that it was where my dad grew up, where we spread Grandma's ashes. They just saw dollar signs. Vanessa was crying now, but they weren't sad tears. They were angry, embarrassed tears, the kind you cry when you're caught. James played the recording. Even though it wasn't officially admissible, Judge Walsh listened to the whole thing, her expression hardening with every word. When it finished, she looked at Marcus. "Do you have anything to say for yourself?" Marcus stood up slowly. For a second, I thought he might apologize. Maybe explain. Maybe show some trace of the son I raised. "Your Honor, this is a misunderstanding. My father needs help managing his affairs, and you were trying to steal from him." Judge Walsh's voice could have cut glass. "You forged documents. You committed fraud. You falsified medical records. You manipulated your own daughter into believing her grandfather was incompetent. And you did it all for money." She shuffled papers, signed something, looked up. "Petition denied. Mr. Morrison retains full control of his affairs and his property. Furthermore, I'm referring this case to the district attorney for criminal fraud charges. Mr. Bradford, your client should get himself a criminal defense attorney." The gavel came down. Marcus and Vanessa were out of the courtroom before I could even stand up. Bradford followed them, phone already to his ear. Lily came around the barrier and hugged me. She was crying for real now, the release of weeks of stress. "It's okay, sweetheart," I said. "It's over." But it wasn't over. Not really. The criminal charges took months to wind through the system. Marcus eventually pleaded to fraud and forgery, got 2 years probation, and had to pay restitution. His real estate license was suspended. Vanessa's followers found out what happened. The story went viral, and her sponsorships dried up overnight. Last I heard, they were selling their house in Minneapolis, moving somewhere cheaper. Marcus sent me a letter once. It was short. "I'm sorry," written 3 times, like he couldn't think of anything else to say. No explanation, no real remorse. Just, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I didn't write back. What would I say? Lily moved in with me that November. Her parents were too busy managing their collapse to notice she was gone. We converted the back bedroom, the one that used to be Marcus's childhood room. She goes to school in Minnetonka now, takes the bus from the end of my road. We fish together in the mornings before school when the weather's good. She's gotten pretty good at casting. Last weekend she caught a northern pike that took us 20 minutes to land. We took a photo by the dock, her holding up this massive fish, both of us grinning. She asked if she could frame it and hang it in her room. Of course I said yes. It's her room, her home. She asked me once why I didn't just give Marcus the property, avoid all this mess. Because it wasn't about the property, sweetheart. It was about control. If I'd given it to him, he would have found something else to take. Some people, when they get a taste for taking, they can't stop. Do you miss him? I thought about that for a long time. I miss who I thought he was, the son I believed I raised. But that person either never existed or he's gone now. I don't know which is worse. It's spring now. The ice came off the lake early this year. Lily and I planted a garden where Sarah used to keep hers. Tomatoes, peppers, lettuce. Lily says she wants to learn to can vegetables like her grandmother used to. I'm teaching her to fly fish. She's terrible at it, but she laughs when the line gets tangled, and that's what matters. Last Tuesday we saw an eagle dive for a fish right in front of us. She grabbed my arm, her eyes huge, and we watched it rise back up with a base in its talons. "Did you see that, Grandpa?" I saw it. Grandma would have loved this. Yeah, she would have. I still think about Marcus sometimes. I wonder if he thinks about me. I wonder if he understands what he destroyed. Not just our relationship, but his relationship with his daughter. She calls him on his birthday, talks for maybe 5 minutes. She doesn't ask to visit him. I've learned something these past months. The people who claim to love you the most can be the ones who hurt you the deepest. But the opposite is also true. The people who stand by you when everything falls apart, those are the ones who really matter. Lily was making dinner last night, trying to recreate Sarah's meatloaf recipe. She'd found it in an old recipe box and insisted on trying it. It came out dry and a little burned on the edges, but we ate it anyway, and I told her it was perfect. After dinner, we sat on the dock watching the sunset. The property appraised at 2.1 million. Marcus was right about that. But it's not for sale. Not now. Probably not ever. What's going to happen to all this when you're gone? Lily asked. It's yours, I told her. If you want it, the property, the cabin, all of it. But that's a long time from now. I'm planning on being around to watch you graduate, go to college, maybe walk you down the aisle someday. She leaned her head on my shoulder. Good, because I'm not done learning to fly fish yet. And you still haven't taught me how to make Grandma's apple pie. We'll start on the pie this weekend. The sun was setting over the lake, turning everything gold and pink. Somewhere in Minneapolis, my son was living with the consequences of his choices. Here, on the dock my grandfather built, I was living with mine. I chose to fight. I chose to protect what my family built. I chose to believe a 15-year-old girl when she said something was wrong. And because of those choices, I still have my home, my freedom, and my granddaughter. Not everyone gets that kind of second chance. The property isn't worth 2.1 million to me. It's not worth anything in dollars. It's worth every Sunday morning I spent here with Sarah. Every summer Marcus ran through these trees as a kid. Every moment I'm building now with Lily. You can't put a price on that. My son tried, and he lost everything. I've got my tackle box ready for tomorrow morning. Lily's got school, but we'll get an hour in before the bus comes. The bass are biting early now that the water's warming up. She's determined to catch something bigger than my personal best. I hope she does. I hope she catches something so big we have to call in the neighbors to help measure it. I hope she tells that story for the rest of her life. Because that's what this property is really about. Stories, memories, the moments that make up a life. Marcus wanted to turn it into content for strangers on the internet. Lily and I are turning it into a home. I know which one Sarah would have wanted. The light's fading now. Lily's inside doing homework. I can hear music playing from her room, some band I don't recognize. Normal teenage stuff. The kind of normal I almost lost. I'm 67 years old. I've flown jets through thunderstorms. I've lost my wife. I've been betrayed by my only son. But I'm still here, on my grandfather's land, watching the stars come out over the lake. And tomorrow morning, I'll teach my granddaughter how to tie a proper clinch knot, and we'll catch fish, and we'll be okay. That's all any of us can really hope for, to be okay, to have people who stand by us, to protect what matters. I protected what mattered, and it cost me my son, but it gave me my granddaughter. Life's funny that way. You lose something, you gain something else. You just have to be wise enough to recognize what's worth keeping and what you need to let go. I'm keeping this property. I'm keeping Lily. I'm keeping my freedom and my dignity. I'm letting go of the son who tried to take it all away. And somehow, standing here in the dark, listening to my granddaughter sing along to her music inside the cabin my grandfather built, I think I'm going to be just fine.